Hey there, gorgeous. Welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome for the first time. Thank you so much for being here today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about a highly rated, affordable foundation, the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. I have 3 shades that I picked up here because I wasn't exactly sure which one would be the right one, but I've seen this foundation all over social media. I have never used it myself, so I'm interested to try it out today. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kai. I'm a hairstylist and a makeup artist. I do live makeup videos on Facebook and also here on YouTube. You can also check me out over on Instagram at @stylesby_Kyle. If you are not familiar with the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation, it is supposed to be a lightweight, mattifying, full coverage foundation. This foundation is also cruelty-free, vegan, gluten-free, alcohol-free, and oil-free. It's supposed to be waterproof and sweat-proof, and it's supposed to be like a second skin effect, meaning that it gives you a full coverage finish without looking like full coverage foundation. It does have dimethicone in it, so it gives a little bit of that blurring effect to the skin, helps kind of smooth the skin surface. The 3 shades that I picked up today are 036 Hazelnut Beige, 035 Natural Beige, 032 Nude Beige. It does have a dropper style applicator, and it can be applied with a brush or with a sponge. I'm going to do half of my face with a brush today and half of it with a sponge. A brush is supposed to give you a more full coverage application, whereas the sponge gives you a medium buildable coverage. This product retails for $11 US, and you do get 1.01 fluid ounces. And I'm gonna color test these really quick and see if I can figure out which one's the best shade for me. It does say that you should shake these well before applying. So I'm just gonna pick up one little dot of that and swipe that on my neck. That is not it. That looks really light. Okay, I think this one is probably the closest, the last one that we did, 036 Hazelnut Beige. So that's the one we're gonna go with. Let's see, I need a foundation brush. So for my brush today, I'm going to be using this one from Real Techniques. It's a densely packed flat kabuki brush. I'm going to put a few drops of this on the back of my hand here. You know what, I'm gonna put a primer on first. I forgot to do that. So we're gonna use some of the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Hyaluronic Hydrating Primer today. It does say that before you use this foundation that you should thoroughly moisturize, which I always do anyway as part of my skincare routine, so we've already done that. And then it says you can use it with your favorite Catrice primer. I don't own any Catrice primers, but this is a good hydrating primer. Because this foundation is oil-free and because it is mattifying, I feel like they're suggesting that you thoroughly hydrate before you put it on. Try not to let this foundation run off the back of my hand while I put my primer on. Okay, we are thoroughly primed. I'm gonna let that dry down just a second before we put this on. And I like to dot my foundation around my face when I use a brush. Typically, I kind of place it in the center of my face and then blend outward because it gives a really natural finish. So I'm gonna go ahead and start dotting this down the center of half of my face here. I wanna see the difference in coverage and wear between a beauty sponge and a brush. Okay, so I'm just gonna stipple this out with the brush here. I don't feel like this foundation moves much. Like it just kind of stayed where I put it. So I feel like the next time I use it, I will probably load it into my brush and then apply it to my face, because applying it directly to my face like that, it feels like it kind of just stuck where I put it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick some of this up on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna come in and apply it that way now. I'm gonna go ahead and do a little bit more of this on the back of my hand really quick. I definitely feel like this foundation oxidizes, which is why I feel like it doesn't look as light now that it's on my face, like it actually looks to be a pretty good match, so it does get slightly darker as it dries down. It is buildable coverage. It looks really nice on the face. Like, it's wearing really beautifully. It definitely has, like they said, that second skin effect. So it doesn't look like I have tons of heavy makeup on my face, but I'm getting really nice coverage. Like, that all looks really nice and even. You can't see much of my redness peeking through compared to this side. I can still kind of see my little moles and freckles through this, so I'm gonna get just a little bit more of the foundation and I'm gonna try to build it up in those areas and see if I can't get it to be even more full coverage. You can definitely tell though, when I put on a spot like that, this oxidizes, because when I first touched my face, it was really, really light, and it still looks slightly lighter in that area. Okay, so far it's wearing really well. It's definitely giving that mattifying effect. It is a pretty full coverage finish. Like I said, I do still have a couple areas over here where you can kind of see some of my beauty marks, moles, freckles, whatever you want to call them, peeking through just a little bit. But otherwise, as far as like evening out my complexion and the tone of my skin, it looks really nice and it's wearing really nicely, and I've built it up several times in several areas, and it's not looking cakey or heavy. It definitely has like that skin-like effect that it says that it gives, and it's just a really nice foundation, and it feels really light and looks really light on the skin. Let's go ahead and try our beauty blender side. So for that side, it says that you should put it into a pan or on the back of your hand and then dip into the product and then apply it to your face. So that's what we're gonna do. Just put a little bit of that on the back of my hand there. I'm going to dip my little beauty sponge directly into the product, and then we'll apply it. I feel like the sponge definitely absorbs a lot of the product. Okay, I'm gonna get just a little bit more of that for the sponge side there, mostly to get down my neck. Okay, so looking at these side by side, I almost feel like I prefer the sponge side, and I'm usually not a sponge person. I actually really like to apply my foundation with a brush. But the sponge, for some reason, I feel like it just looks a little bit smoother, and I feel like having that little bit of moisture in the sponge helps to blend the foundation a little bit better. On this side, when I said I felt like it just kind of was sticking where I put it when I set it on my face and then tried to blend it out with the brush, it didn't seem to have that same problem over here. It seemed to blend out a little bit easier, be a little bit smoother. It also feels a little bit lighter on this side for some reason. As far as coverage goes, I feel like the brush and the sponge are pretty similar. Typically a brush gives you a little bit more coverage, and it may, like it did slightly in some areas, like right through here, I feel like I can see a little bit more of the redness on my sponge side than I can on the brush side, but they're very similar in finish. It's not a huge difference in coverage. I do also feel like this foundation is accentuating and kind of settling into the texture in my nose right here. I tend to suffer from larger pores through that area, and typically before applying foundation, I would use like a pore filling type primer through that area, but I didn't want to use anything that was going to affect the wear of the foundation today because I was trying it out for the first time. So I just did a simple moisturizing primer. So this could probably be easily corrected with the correct priming before I apply the foundation again. Overall, I'm really impressed with this foundation. It looks really nice. For $11 for a full fluid ounce, that's a really good deal. And this wears very similar to some of the more expensive foundations that I've purchased. What do you guys think about this foundation? Have you tried it in the past? If you have, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Are you gonna go out and try it? I would definitely recommend trying it for an $11 foundation. It looks really beautiful on the skin, has a very skin-like finish, gives very nice coverage, and it's very affordable. That is it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it or somehow found it helpful. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do that by hitting that subscribe button below. Also, go check me out over on Facebook under the name Kai Styles and over on Instagram at stylesby_Kyle. I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day, and until I see you next time, remember to be true to yourselves, be kind to one another, and most importantly, be beautiful. I love you all. I will see you in the next one. Have a fabulous day.